Hey Gabe, you're fat. And he can't defend himself because he's fixing something on the machine.
Yep.
Anyway, hello listeners. That was some great opening banter, wasn't it? Thanks for your contribution, Gabe.
I am fat. I'm a big piggy.
You're a fat piggy.
Sit at home and just wallow in mud.
And
Cry.
Happy belated Valentine's Day, listeners of the internet. What did you do, Gabriel?
I cleaned up and changed around the lounge room. I changed the kitchen, cleaned my room, and did some exercise.
Ah, how romantic. The classic love story between man and kitchen.
It's a good place, the kitchen. The kitchen's great.
My evening was the classic love story between man and box of Weight Watchers brand Bakewell tarts.
I love how you have so much success in life and yet manage to focus on the bitter, miserable aspects of it.
Yeah, man, the other man's arse is always cleaner. We focus on what we don't have.
I like to think that was internet research that illuminated that.
Anyway, look at what we're playing, internet. It's the X-Files Resist or Serve.
Yeah!
Now, this is not to be mistaken for the first X-Files game, is it? Which was an FMV affair.
Yeah.
This is the PS2 survival horror X-Files game.
Which I think, and it gets me it starts me on what I'd be as my sort of topic for this, which is...
Well, slow down, sailor.
Okay, who do you want to be? Do you want to be Dana Scully or Fox Mulder?
Oh, decisions.
Soon to be Englishman or porn addict? That was a part of his character in the original series. He was a porn addict.
Ah, would that have been a reference to his early work in the erotic series Red Shoe Diaries?
I knew he did sort of an erotic series. I didn't know the name of it. Did you research that, or did you just know it? Or are you like...
I just watched the shit out of it and masturbated heavily. Now
David Duchovny, like, giving you a hand.
Well, we have to do Fox Mulder now, don't we?
Yeah. And yeah, so basically, this is set up... This is why I quite like the game, despite the fact the gameplay itself isn't great. Is it's set up kind of like you're playing extra episodes of X-Files.
Alrighty.
And, yeah, so...
Okay.
It's really nifty if you're a fan of X-Files.
So
and I'm a fan of X-Files.
What was that other game that pretends to be... Star Trek Voyager Elite Force.
Haven't played that one.
I think a couple of Star Trek games do it as well, actually. The way it goes into the classic opening sequence. A little way into the prologue.
I actually like that. Like, I'm an easy mark for, like, my sci-fi and fantasy opening sequences.
Oh, hey, Tunguska, I'm sure this will end well.
I know. Every, drink if you can, every X-Files episode that you... How much X-Files did you actually watch?
A fair bit. I know enough to be able to state that there were basically 3 different kinds of X-Files episode. There was Monster of the Week.
Yeah.
There was continuation of ongoing conspiracy, usually meant I wouldn't understand what the fuck was going on. Or they had occasional silly episode when we were sick of A and B.
The occasional... I don't know, they had some excellent standalone episodes.
What was that episode they did in black and white, which was about a mad scientist turning people into animal-human hybrids? That was a silly episode.
Yeah, that was a good silly... Okay,
and Cher was in it, I remember now.
One of the best standalone episodes of anything is, I think from Season 3, called Jose Chung's From Outer Space.
Oh, that was a bit dark.
It's on Netflix. Seriously, sit down and watch it. Yeah, and here we go. X-Files opening sequence.
That was a bit dark, baby being eaten by black stuff.
That's the sentient oil that is one of the alien species.
Oh god, now it starts. Yeah, I remember that. Occasionally there'd be some black stuff appear in one of those ongoing conspiracy episodes, and I'd be like, what the fuck is that? Why is everyone afraid of the Marmite?
Marmite's scary, man. You need to fight Marmite with Vegemite.
I love Marmite. It's like Vegemite, but less coagulated.
That's kind of why I like Vegemite. It's just this hateful yeast discharge, and yet we smear it on burnt bread.
This is taking me back, though.
I know, like, this was the 90s for me. It was I remember when X-Files came out, I would fight with my parents to stay up and fucking watch X-Files, and they just gave up eventually.
I remember when it was such a big, like, endemic thing in popular culture, but now no one really talks about it. It's not like Star Trek, where everyone still talks about it to the day.
Well, Star Trek ran, it had its time in the 60s, and it had a resurgence with the reruns. Like, that was one of the first big syndicated rerun shows.
Does this game have subtitles? If it does, you might want to put them on at the earliest opportunity, because we're not going to be able to hear a word these people are saying.
I'm masturbating about you, Scully. Secretly, all the time. You know, I kind of, like, this is the show that it did that kind of romance thing, and I sort of wish it didn't, and it kind of skipped around it by the end.
I think it's technically called a Will They, Won't They?
Yeah, I don't like that in shows. I think it's kind of asinine these days.
Well, you know, the moment they actually do it, there's no story left, is there? They have to make sure they've still got bills they can pay next week.
They made some interesting jokes about it in Moonlighting, which was another sort of
flap mouth.
No, when I first downloaded this, my shittier laptop didn't run it very well, and so I had to turn all these things off to try and get it to run at full speed, and the result was these two characters sitting here with no head matter whatsoever. It was just hair and disembodied eyeballs having a conversation.
Nice.
And yeah, if it weren't for the fact that the game was still unplayably slow, I'd entirely be doing it like that right now. Like, just the terrifying disembodied eye chat is...
Any chance you could summarize this plot we're not listening to?
Well, okay, it starts like every X-Files episode where they're on their way to something already and discussing the case.
So
and essentially
Monster of the Week brand,
Monster of the Week, yeah. So we're having a Monster of the Week episode here, and they're discussing, as usual, how something peculiar is going on, and Scully doesn't think it's peculiar, and Mulder thinks it's peculiar. And basically, there's potential Satanism involved, someone's died, and a murder's been committed by someone who was supposed to have died several weeks ago.
Okay.
And that's the mystery. Ooh.
So this is X-Files when it's being Twin Peaks.
Yeah, and, you know, the double connection of David Duchovny having been in Twin Peaks as a transvestite FBI agent.
Hey kids, this was before facial animation. Is it obvious?
And much in the way of mocapping too. Like, some of the animations in this are fairly shoddy. Alright, so here we go.
See if there's a subtitles option for anything else. See, that's the thing about subtitles. Sometimes it's in audio, sometimes it's in video.
Alright, I don't think it's in audio.
Okay. Aspect ratio doesn't help. Actually, try game settings. Sometimes it's in that as well.
Vibration.
Nope.
Alright, look, you could just... That doesn't need a whole subcategory to itself. Like, you don't need game settings just to get to vibration.
Maybe they were planning to put more in later.
Maybe it's in controls.
Not shit.
Nope.
No.
Alright, well, here we are. Switch targets, reload, aim mode, jog.
Okay, we'll just not give a shit about the plot then.
You're not missing anything, really.
Alright, let me guess. There's monsters killing the people in the small town.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the best.
Alright, where's my inventory? And so here it kind of has your sort of Resident Evil-y...
This is very Resident Evil-y at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah,
the diner's quite Silent Hilly.
Yeah. The door's locked.
I can't see terribly well. I'm getting light off the TV.
Well, this looks normal.
Yes, carry on, citizen.
Yes. Mandatory health inspection. We just want to make sure you're preparing your human meat in a safe manner.
So, yes, do you mind if I just heat up my gun on your burner there? Do you mind if I just stick my gun into your chest?
There's a man hurt outside. I need a phone.
What's he saying?
There's a man hurt outside. I need a phone. And Mulder's not noticing that human is missing half of his face.
Oh, it's Shadow over Innsmouth as well then.
Yeah. Alright, so good job there,
Sooner
Mulder.
or later, all these horror town stories come back to the Shadow over Innsmouth, don't they? Good old Lovecraft, you big racist twat.
The Shadow over Innsmouth was always interracial marriage.
Yeah, that was literally... It wasn't like an unintended theme, it was literally about interracial marriage.
Cthulhu is just code for nigger cock.
Oh my god, I love the Lovecraftian mythos, but, you know, give it a rest, Howard.
Okay, door won't open.
I was reading... You ever read Reanimator, Herbert West Reanimator?
Yes.
There's a bit where he's describing a Negro boxer, and it's like...
yeah.
Even for the time, it's like, bloody hell.
It's like,
I mean, he's like talking about his knuckles dragging on the floor, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, like, give it a rest, dude.
Good old Howard P. Well, you know, he had all those views because he never left his house, didn't he?
Square burgers. Alright, look. Help me out here. You can be my detective. I need to find a phone, because this was set in the 90s when mobiles weren't, like, everywhere.
Well, I'm sure they had mobiles in the X-Files, didn't they?
Yeah, but they were a big deal. I think even in the first few episodes, like, the first few seasons, they had, like, car phones.
Is there not one as part of the cash register?
No. And all the doors in here seem to be locked, so I'm gonna go try having a little wander out.
It doesn't feel like ages ago, but it was quite a while ago, the X-Files, wasn't it?
Yeah, shit's getting on like 20 years now.
Yeah, so that's some 90s shit.
We're getting old.
Ken's dying, Mulder. Get help.
Okay, I'm not meant to go out here.
Yes, that's the standard "but thou must" sequence, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why did we unload the level? We don't know. But now we're going to load it again.
Okay, so we've explored here. The door is locked.
Okay. Wait, wasn't there a phone by the door there?
There's this perfectly... Oh, what have I got here? I've obtained a first aid kit.
Really? A small rectangular coloured box with a white cross on it is a first aid kit? I'd never have guessed.
A rag.
And a rag.
And... Can I shoot this guy?
Continue about your business, Mr. Dent.
Outside, I need a phone.
Batman joke.
Alright, can't shoot.
Okay.
I love how he kind of is looking up and just around. It's...
Well, let's think like a game designer.
Alright, where have they put the phone?
They'd obviously put the phone after something the game wants you to see before the game continues, yes? So they'd want you to look at all of this, probably. And see the scary lady. So there'll probably be a phone after that. Somewhere.
Oh,
there you see?
There we are.
Thinking like a game designer wins out.
I missed it earlier. That was my fault.
Yes, it was.
I didn't see it because it was just like a lump of texture.
People gave me shit for how I play Hexen.
That's the internet. People gave me shit for how I played Alex Kidd in Shinobi World, and that's like I have literally not played that game for 23 years.
So, what happened with the phone?
It was disconnected.
Oh, she's a zombie.
Yeah, it's a zombie episode, which I don't think they ever really did in...
I'm a federal agent and I will find
I'm thinking of an episode where I think it was about vampires.
Yeah, the vampire episode was great.
Yeah, that was one of the pseudo-comedy episodes.
I obtained the zombie lady's aspirin bottle.
Good on you.
Yeah.
Is that a health item?
Probably.
Push the jukebox in front of the door, isn't it the way?
And obviously I can never move that. Alright, let's examine a rag.
Okay.
It's a rag.
Yes, I know it's a rag.
Nothing found.
Can you rotate it?
Yeah.
Oh, very, L.A. Noir-y.
That's the thing, like, and I like, this is sort of building into what I want my first topic to be, is games that...
I'm guessing you didn't see
Oh.
anything either.
Oh, he's still alive.
Uh-oh.
That's,
Shoot him,
that's
shoot him.
why half his face was burnt off. Not because he had displeased the mob and was
Oh, got
holding
Roscoe's
them on
keys.
trial,
Yeah.
and then he became a Batman villain. That's not really working as a joke, is it?
Well, considering he's dead now and isn't going to come back.
That's what everyone said after The Dark Knight,
And
they were right.
They were right.
I wish they'd been wrong, though, because I
Yeah.
really like Two-Face as a character.
And Dark Knight Rises was a boring, shitty film.
Oh! Oh! Oh!
Hey, look, a cat!
Look at you with your edgy opinions.
It's not fucking edgy. Like,
I
it's,
really liked Dark Knight Rises.
I think...
It's the only, cinematic Batman depiction where it's actually reached a decisive conclusion.
Decisive.
In terms of-
he's alive in Italy for stupid reasons.
Don't spoil it. In terms of Batman's character arc,
Oh, I mean, I'll grant a degree of solidity to the arc. That's there.
he actually does go through an arc.
Mm.
I mean, he doesn't have any money at the start, does he?
No, that part is fair. I don't think the execution of it was as good.
Because as we just, it's the standard superhero trilogy model, isn't it? There's got to be one episode where he loses his powers, and Batman's power is infinite money, as we've discussed earlier.
I think his power is more insane motivation. I think even if he didn't have the money,
I think the
he'd
infinite
just...
money helps.
Oh, the infinite money helps, but I think without that, he'd just be, Rorschach, which is what I think the point of Rorschach.
Well, yeah, that was the point. He was Batman without the money. He's just a resourceful hobo that everyone considers kind of mistrustful and smelly. Anyway,
Alright, so the guy that Scully was looking out for... And the thing is, if you play as Scully, you don't go into the diner. You sit out there with the dude, and the dude dies and comes back and tries to bite her.
Right.
And so...
This was very classic Resident Evil, wasn't it? Where you have to pick the male or the female hero, and then you get a different path through the game depending on which one you took.
Oh, that was way less... Like, Resident Evil was... not... The path didn't divert that much.
I guess not. Does it divert a lot in this?
To a reasonable degree, yeah. And the sad thing is, like, and this is what I mean about, like, tie-in games, is this is basically a rip-off of Resident Evil with some, what's that thing called? Silent Hill thrown in, and it is just tragically falls short of being in any way a good game.
Well, I guess not.
It's just so close. Like, it was, if you just spent a little more time, tightened some things, made the puzzles a little better, you'd have a really solid fucking X-Files game.
There are so few good tie-in games, though.
Yeah.
I'm not sure there is a formula to it.
Honestly, the more I think about it, the more I think just rip off an existing good game.
Well, that sort of seems a little unambitious to me.
I think in terms of, like, I think some developers need to be a little less ambitious.
Well,
I think that's...
Well, I'm thinking in terms of games that were really good tie-in games. The only two that presently come to mind, Spider-Man 2 and Chronicles of Riddick Escape from Butcher Bay, both of which were fairly unique in their tones. And I think what it is, especially with Spider-Man 2, is that they took what's unique about the film property and they added that uniqueness to the gameplay. Because Spider-Man 2, as we know, has very excellent web-swinging physics, and that's what makes it really good.
Yeah,
the game doesn't work without it.
No. It is still really fun, and every time I hear about a new Spider-Man game, it's... Are they doing open-world swinging? Nope. Don't care them.
Because the problem with tie-ins in like a larger franchise, like the X-Files and Spider-Man, is that they can't really do anything with the plot, can they? Starts off as status quo, everything has to be right back as status quo by the end.
When it's... I think when it's a tie-in designed... Like, some of the X-Files games and whatnot are designed to tie in with the universe and flow on from the game. Then
Well,
I think
yes.
that limits it. But I think with Spider-Man 2, they were allowed to just go, screw it.
Yeah, they went out a bit with that. I think because the plot, while recreating Spider-Man 2, the film, sort of threw out all the bits that wouldn't have made a good game. As in, the bits where he's Spider-Man no more. And just added
Fuck
in
you, zombie cat.
You killed the kitty cat.
It was a zombie.
I don't believe you.
Mulder hates cats.
Cats bite you even when they're not zombie cats. Cats are dicks.
Cats don't bite me. Cats like me.
Well, it depends on the cat, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What were we saying about facial animation?
Yeah, these are all... what the...
What the hell happened there?
I don't know.
She turned into Disco Zombie. You know, maybe we should turn the dialogue up. Why would the woman transform into Disco Zombie?
Who doesn't want to be Disco Zombie?
I mean,
the
different
lights.
clothes as well.
I've obtained Ann Lawson's license.
And... Did you almost say Ann Lawson's Dysons?
Yes, I did.
You,
A spoonerism.
Yes, thank you,
believe
the
those are
Reverend
called.
William Spooner.
Hey, you jerk.
They're all disco zombies.
Saturday Night Fever.
Did never attempt to sing again. You were right. You in the realm of singing should live in different realms.
Well, how about you give a bust out some Saturday Night Fever, yes, come on.
Night
Everyone
fever,
loves it.
Night fever.
Oh, Jesus, save.
We know how to do it.
Yeah, summon some Gib power there. Alright, that door won't open. Is that door won't open because it won't open yet, or that door won't open because it's just not a door?
See, there was a code in Silent Hill. If it would never open, it looks like the lock is broken.
Yeah,
if you found a key or opened it from the other side later, it's locked.
Yeah, I like that kind of set, where it's clear.
Yeah, you gotta set yourself some rules.
Alright, what do I do with this lady? I should look at her license, that's what I should do.
I thought you'd played this before.
Yeah, but only a little bit before I got bored of it.
Okay.
So this is fun, we're having fun.
Yes, we certainly are.
Nothing found, nothing found.
Now, Chronicles of Riddick Escape from Butcher Bay.
That was a weird example of a game that was really fucking good.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere, didn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, everything else associated with Riddick post-Pitch Black is just Vin Diesel's masturbatory shite.
Which, I kind of appreciate Vin Diesel for at least, having a bit of passion and trying. I mean, the execution, is it something I personally like? No. But, he's earnest, I'll give him that.
He just wants to live in his fantasy persona, doesn't he? He just became, total Mary Sue. I mean, the beauty of the character in Pitch Black is that he's not the main character.
No.
And you're not sure if you can trust him. So he can be, kind of indestructible and weirdly all-knowing and that because he's an unknown quantity. But the moment he becomes the protagonist, it stops being interesting, doesn't it? You can get away with that in a video game because the video game protagonist is always succeeding.
You may have to close blinds, essentially, because I cannot see shit.
Alright, Phil for a bit.
Da, 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 da. I'm not singing, I'm humming. Shit, I cannot see. I cannot see if I'm being attacked. Okay, do I have any ammo left? Oh, wait, there I am. Alright. Reload. Fucking hit the things. Mulder, do you go to FBI school or what?
Is that better, my little prince?
How are you
Right.
not dead?
Interesting pair of cases, that. Spider-Man 2 and Escape from Butcher Bay. Because on the one case, you got something that rigidly adheres to the movie plot, where
doodle
it feels
do.
like it. And on the other side, you have something that just goes off from the movie and makes its own thing.
Alright, okay, I just healed myself up.
So I don't, as I said, I used to think that the ideal formula for a good tie-in game was something that used the existing universe to jump off from
Build,
and
yeah.
explore new ideas. But then sometimes that's not the case. And as I say, I don't think there is a formula for a good tie-in game.
I mean, there's a few that I think have done the close but no cigar thing, and I think they're sort of illustrative of the problem. Like, X-Men Origins Wolverine was, again, perilously close to being a decent game.
It was basically just God of War, though, wasn't it?
I really do think that...
Well, a lot of games were basically just God
Yeah.
of War around the time, weren't they?
I'm not sure if that's a bad thing exactly. I mean, lazy, yes, but I think for a tie-in, go safe with, you know, your gameplay style.
I suppose that makes sense. I mean, you're making a tie-in, you can't really, you know, assume you're going to be making huge waves in the video game world. You might as well just try to do something...
Do it right.
Yeah, just try to do something that's been done before, but do it right.
Yeah, just make a functional game, and that's it.
I thought that was a tablet device on the table for a second there.
Jesus.
So that's a bit before our time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Was that a jump scare that worked on you?
Now I killed him.
Go
I feel good
X-Files,
about
resist
myself.
or serve. Unexpected jump outs.
We could see now. If only we a gate clicker. Huh. If only we had a what I just got. Oh, I could move this couch. Oh, there might be secrets. Secrets.
So
it's locked.
this game is all about the fixed camera, I'm seeing.
Yeah, kind of. Remember Resident Evil Umbrella Chronicles? Not Umbrella Chronicles. I'm an idiot.
Pass lever 36.
Veronica,
Yes.
Code Veronica.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a bit like that. So it's like sort of fixed, but it jiggles around a bit occasionally.
There's
to
something
fuck with
weird about a fully 3D rendered game that does fixed camera. I mean, Silent Hill, part of the reason, well, it's all interconnected with Silent Hill. Silent Hill has the fog because it has low draw distance, and it has a low draw distance because it's in an entirely 3D world.
Well, that was originally on the PS1, which couldn't exactly...
Yeah, the PS1 couldn't run an entirely 3D rendered world without lowering the draw distance to absolutely nothing, which is what led to the one of the most iconic horror games in history. So.
And I think that's a really... Hey,
Hey, I think that guy's got bigger problems.
beat it.
He appears to be farting paprika all over the place.
I think the, like...
Have you got magic extinguishing bullets there? Or was the fire burning life?
that was actually... Those guys weren't zombies. I was putting them out with my special FBI extinguisher gun.
Yes, they're just going to lie there.
I just
for a while
saved
now.
people. I'm a hero, Yahtzee.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Fox Mulder. You going to get up then? No. I'll just lie here and appreciate my existence for a while. Oh, you shot me with my bullets. Oh, I'm gonna
Okay, are those shots connecting their game?
Something funny about how that happens with the trough in front of it, isn't there? It rises back into view, boom, right back down again.
Oh, down I go.
Yeah. Yep, this is pretty fixed camera-y. Well, Silent Hill had some fixed camera bits in it. I don't think it really serves this so well.
I think they're overdoing the volume of zombies.
Yeah, well,
Like, you know,
it's kicked in pretty early, hasn't it?
yeah, and I feel this would be better with more of the... Like, the jump scare is not a bad thing. Like, I'm not wholly opposed to it, but I think that
You know,
particularly X-Files could build a little more creep.
well, it can add a tension.
Yeah.
And once you've got tension, you got to do something
pay it
with
off,
it.
yeah.
Otherwise, you're just jerking off.
I think I'm out of bullets.
Ow, why'd you shoot me, you asshole? So, do you have a melee attack? Do you have such a thing?
Doesn't look... I've had a torch this whole time.
Oh, that helps. Well, it doesn't
Okay,
actually.
no, it doesn't. I can't run.
Oh. I guess it doesn't help then. Hey, did you just fire your gun again with no bullets?
No, it was the light
Okay.
being sort of lighty. Okay. That door won't open.
Just trying to think of other tie-in games
I
that
think
are
I'm trying to
good.
find this chick's house.
I remember playing
Where's
X-Men
the
Origins.
map?
I did play X-Men Origins Wolverine. The weird thing about that is that it was kind of psychotically gory. When the film it was based on was a PG, am I right?
Yeah, psychotically gory, and which is a nice thing because you never get to see Wolvie really use the claws.
Well,
and
what can he do in the
Yeah.
kid-friendly stuff in the Saturday morning cartoon? He's not going to be stabbing up a bitch, is he?
Don't worry, I won't touch you inappropriately.
I remember when I was a kid, the X-Men cartoon series was my first exposure to the X-Men, and I was like, why do they keep that guy around? He obviously can't use the knives because regeneration isn't a thing that comes across so well.
No,
And again, he wouldn't be able to demonstrate regeneration unless he'd been physically damaged, and they couldn't show that in the
couldn't
cartoon,
really
could they?
show that, no.
There really was no point in him being around.
Okay, where's the map? What's map? Alright, no, it's unequipped gun.
So, you picked up the clicker, right? So
Yeah.
presumably you will now need to find a garage to open it with.
I'm trying to work out what map is, because I found a map earlier, and I'm like, oh, that's good.
In Silent Hill, it would have been triangle. But let's
It's
check.
not that in this. Weapons, toggle, inventory, toggle.
Map
Oh,
is,
actually, I do have a melee. Oh, that's good.
Map is up on the
Oh, I
D-pad.
completely forgot the D-pad exists.
People often do.
Hey, alright, okay.
Right, so where are we going?
Um,
Yeah, that is very Silent Hilly, isn't it?
it really is. Okay, Hector's garage is where I started.
Well, it's not
a
quite as
town
extensive
centre.
as Silent Hill. That's got, like, what,
No.
20 buildings?
Motel accommodations. Okay, so I need to get to the motel,
Okay.
because that's where she's staying.
Is that your objective?
I think so, yeah. Oh, melee attack, yeah, ow. Alright, that's, yeah, I don't think I'm
my
gonna do
very
that.
pretty face.
Oh, look at Mulder kick.
Crazy.
Running away.
So
That's not effective.
he was wasted in Red Shoe Diaries.
Okay, let's double check that map.
What I remember about the X-Files is that wasn't Mulder supposed to be a big nerd when he was first introduced,
Yeah.
and then over time he just became handsome FBI man.
Yeah, pretty much. Alright, so that's blocked off. That's...
Are the lone gunmen in this?
I hope so. I love them, and then
They had
got
their
rid of
own.
them.
They had their own spin-off show, didn't
A
they?
really good spin-off.
The,
Well,
the
I mean,
three nerds from the
yeah.
X-Files. I remember one of the silly episodes was a wholly lone gunman-centric episode, which I believe is what they call in the industry the disguised pilot.
the Lone Gunman-centric episode was actually really good. I love it. These guys are just following me around now. Like the
Yeah.
Welcome Committee.
Yeah, see, that's what a lot of people don't get about Silent Hill, is that what was good about it is that you could fight the monsters, or you could run away from the monsters.
Running away usually being a good idea, because there were some mandatory fights.
Yeah. I mean, Silent
Wow,
Hill...
it even does the little scribble across when you can't get through an area.
Ha! Rip-offs. Silent Hill was a game where you were constantly going...
I'm running away.
The thing about Silent Hill 2 is that there's this strong impression that all the monsters, kind of have bigger problems than you.
Yeah.
They're all shuffling around, all in pain, going, "Oh God, help!" And then they reach out to you for a moment's feeling of warmth as they strike you in the bonds. But when you get out of their range, they go, "Oh, forget it,"
They
because
reach
they're
out
all
for-
all so depressed.
Yeah, I think that was one of the better... Like, I think an element that I think games could learn from of just how to make something creepy is to make it look like there's shit going on that doesn't involve you.
Yeah, it was one of the things that builds Silent Hill 2's very oppressive atmosphere.
Okay, the gate. I can't get over that gate, Yahtzee. Look at it. I cannot get over that gate.
Well,
It
you
is
better-
electronically locked.
Well, there's spikes on the top, man.
Yeah,
You might hurt yourself. Health and safety.
Cuter Twins trailer.
I mean, Mulder has obviously gone through the course. He's had a health and safety weekend seminar.
Yeah.
They gave him
FBI's.
sandwiches. He couldn't just blow it off.
Okay, now an important part of the FBI training is don't climb pointy gates. We've lost too
Yes.
many agents.
We're not paying your medical insurance for that.
Anybody wounded on pointy gates will have to pay out of pocket.
Shot by enemy action, fair enough. But pointy gates, that's your own lookout.
Yeah, that guy's got a hammer. I might try and take him out.
What was I talking
Oh,
about?
that's the melee attack animation, and it looks like...
Yes, like the later Silent Hills, especially the ones developed by the later Western developers, the enemies were always angry at you.
Yeah, whereas...
Especially in Silent Hill Homecoming. Like, the enemies would follow you wherever you went.
Hmm.
And I'd be trying to run away and be leading a fucking conga line because they'd put so much effort into the combat engine in that game. So much misplaced effort into the combat engine. Because James Sunderland in Silent Hill 2, he hit things, you know, like you'd expect a middle-aged clerk with a stick would hit things like.
Huh, okay, I got some empty beer bottles.
But they made a big thing about the main character in Silent Hill Homecoming being an ex-soldier. And so he was like doing combat rolls all over the place, and that's just kind of absurd.
Combat roll!
In Silent Hill, when you're fighting your skinless zombie dogs.
I really should be able to smack a motherfucker. No.
Are you smacking this motherfucker? Have you tried using the melee attack while holding the torch? Ah, that reminds me of Dead Island.
Yay, he had ammo! Dead Island, yeah, that game wasn't as good as it could have been.
Because that was another game where you had to do a lot of kicking.
Head stomping.
Zombie on the floor.
Not allowed to go through there.
Well, anyway, I think we've established that this is both a shit tie-in game and not Silent Hill.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, if they... You can see where the ideas are that would make this a good game, and then they're just not there.
Also you say. I've yet to see anything yet. Is it just going to be more of the can-can dance on the zombies?
Yeah, but I mean, imagine if that wasn't a shitty animation implemented poorly. You'd have... Like, again, there's
Okay, I'm just going to imagine a whole better game then. Ooh, Silent Hill 2. Ooh, no, why are you touching my crotch? Ooh, actually, I like that.
Hey. You said you were allowed to get back up, you jerk.
Have you ever been playing a game with Rumble and you're just sort of naturally slouched in the couch with the controller over your crotch and you kind of forget that you're doing that and then the Rumble happens and then you feel a little indecent? And then you feel more indecent for realising you don't want to move the controller now?
So how was your Valentine's Day, Arts? I bet it was ripping.
I already told you it was my Bakewell tart evening.
You gotta accentuate the positive.
So you're going to go into this Egyptian pyramid here and
it's
disturb the tomb?
The bull's horn.
Is the tomb under the snooker table? I guess it's probably a pool.
The balls are triangular. That's an interesting form of snooker. I've never played that one before.
Well, they had limited polygons around this time.
3.
Where did Scully go to anyway?
We got separated from her at the start. Alright, that don't
You'd think the FBI would give their agents some means to communicate with each other in the field.
Something maybe that used radio waves.
Yes. Something along those lines. Wow, look what you've found.
I'm just carrying around empty... Alright, what are these...
Are they like thrown weapons?
I can't use...
Can you...
Oh, I think I might...
Can you equip them?
No, I can't.
Can you fill them with oil and stick the rag in the bottle?
I think I'm able to do something like that. Like, there's rag and there's bottle, but I don't have whatever
Gasoline.
the third... Yeah,
well, there is a combine control, so...
Yeah, I was just trying to use that, and it wasn't.
Maybe, well, this is a bar. Maybe there'll be like some Jack Daniels or something. Does Jack Daniels burn?
Yeah, but not great. You want a clear spirit.
Yeah, like your vodka.
Yeah.
Well, apparently they don't have vodka at the bar.
Let's explore the women's bathroom.
Stay out of the women's bathroom, Fox Mulder. That behavior embarrasses the agency more than it does you. Deus Ex joke.
Toilet first aid kits. Women always leaving first aid kits on the floor of the toilet.
Yeah, funny that.
Yeah. They use them for their monthlies. Ooh.
Well, you know, if you haven't got any...
Get off me.
If you haven't got any sanitary objects, you could always just use gauze.
Apparently tampons make really good stuff for that.
Yeah, I've heard that. You like stick them in a bleeding wound and you're laughing.
Yeah.
Well, the person with the bleeding wound presumably isn't laughing unless they've gone into shock.
Yeah. Having a chuckle about how you got a tampon jammed, didn't you? That'd be pretty funny.
I left.
This is one of those games where the camera angle will swap and your controls will swap as well. So
I left Flappy Bird open on my iPad. I'm going to play that for a bit.
Fan. Naked pool boys.
Yeah, I got a point. Yeah, I got another point. Oh, I died.
The ways you choose to spend your time depress me.
Hey, you're playing the fucking X-Files game in front of me. Don't you throw stones, Mr. Glasshouse. Anyway, I got this out because we had a topic list somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. My general other topic for the games discussion is the wave of big releases coming shortly as part of the Q1 schedule. The next one coming out
Fucking camera angle.
around the end of this month is Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2. Did you play the first Castlevania Lords of Shadow?
No.
Oh, well, that went nowhere.
Castlevania! I can't hear Castlevania without hearing the Captain N and the Game Master bit about it.
Well, I'm a big fan of Castlevania Symphony of the Night, as you know. And Castlevania Lords of Shadow is no Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I know that much.
Oh, that's a shame.
Kind of interesting, though, because at the end of it, the main character turns out to be Dracula, and you didn't realise the whole time.
Was he called Alucard?
No, that's Dracula's son, you fool. He was supposed to be like a holy warrior, but, you know, the usual shit happens. Actually, he was really angry about a dead wife. You know, the classic Kratos story arc. And by the end of it, he turns into Dracula, and that's who we'll be playing in Lords of Shadow 2, I understand. I hope it's got more of the open-ended Metroidvania style that makes me love Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Lords of Shadow 1 was based... The thing about Lords of Shadow 1... Ooh, nice.
Titties! Shitty polygonal titties!
What are we looking at here? Why is the camera showing us this lady's breasts?
A clue.
Scully.
Rah. I'm just going to focus at something directly in front of my face for a moment.
Alright, the sad thing is the game's probably telling me where I need to go and what I need to do, but I'm too busy listening to you, so...
Well, the problem with Lords of Shadow 1 was, as I was saying, you could go back to previous levels, but the game was basically entirely linear, so there was very little point. Also, it kept ripping off Shadow of the Colossus for some reason. Kept fighting big monsters and having to climb all over their bodies and stab their weak points.
So it was a big 3D affair.
It was one of those games that's trying to adopt every identity other than its own, you know? No, it was a God of War-y combat. I think you even had a chain weapon as well, yeah, I just remembered that. As in a weapon on the end of a chain.
Blades of Athena and then the...
Yeah.
What were they the second time round? The Blades of Dave?
It's funny how many blades on the end of chains there are knocking about in ancient Greece, isn't there?
They are not a good or efficient weapon.
Well, I'll just take that as the authoritative voice there.
There's a few flail style weapons. And
First thing you're gonna do is wrap it around your neck and choke yourself, aren't you?
Or lacerate yourself. And also, it's just they don't. Getting a flick weapon like that to hit somebody is an incredible amount of maths because you're basically dealing with. Look at that guy come out.
Well, your Lords of Shadow, not quite Dracula yet, man, used it as a whip because that's the classic weapon in Castlevania, the whip.
Post office backdoor key. Alright, let's find the post office. Shit.
Do you know the whip was the first man-made object to break the speed of sound?
Yeah, I didn't know it was the first man-made object to break the speed of sound, but I know that it breaks the speed of sound.
Yeah, that's what the crack is.
Because the energy carries down to... Apparently one of the sources, one of the big fucking things could make its tail do that. Like... Well, and that was how it fended off attacks.
Yes.
Attacks.
Interesting facts.
Turning into QI, slowly but surely.
So I think I've thoroughly opined on Castlevania Lords of Shadow.
Well, explain to someone who's maybe not played it as much. Key to Twins trailer. Package. There we go.
Don't get distracted from your sentence.
Alright.
Yes, you were saying...
I've never played... Would you recommend playing Castlevania Lords of Shadow? Even if the sequel is coming out?
Well, maybe. If you had nothing else to occupy your time.
You were really bored.
I guess it was functional. It was a very, very big game. If you got a lot of time on your hands. It came on 2 discs on the Xbox 360.
Jesus.
Which made it doubly pointless to be able to go back to previous levels. Unless you got a big disc swapping fetish, which personally I don't.
Yes, I'm trying to think of the last time I had to swap discs for anything.
Who uses discs anymore?
Oh, you use physical media. So lame.
Anyway,
It is lame and gross, physical media.
the next big game on my list is Thief. I think it comes out the same day as Lords of Shadow 2.
I faintly remember hearing some rumblings about Thief and that they've changed it in some way that everyone who's ever played Thief hates. Or am I thinking of something else?
Well, I think you're thinking of absolutely everything in the world
Absolutely, yeah.
there.
Everything, always, forever.
Well, I don't think I've picked up on anything specific about, from what I've seen of Thief, that will change everything, I think. You know what does annoy me is how in the trailer, Garrett, the main character, is all like, "Ugh, look at me, I'm so cool. The night sets me free." I think that's a direct quote.
Oh, you fucking... Wait, did you not make that up?
No, it's true. The night sets me free, I think, was the line. But that kind of gets me because Garrett, in the original Thieves,
Trent Reznor fan lyrics.
he was the very opposite of melodramatic. I mean, I think my favourite Garrett quote, because he was a very talky hero, my favourite quote of his was from the start of Thief 2, where he's talking about how he's about to go on a mission to... he's going on a mission to help a friend elope, I think. And his...
That sounds fun.
And he says, I've
Valentine's
always
Day.
equated feelings with getting caught. They both get in the way of my money. And I think that kind of sums the character up to a T. He was a cynic. He was a down-homey cynic sort of man, slow to trust. And that whole "the night sets me free" garbage. I never got the impression in the original Thief games that he stole because it was just for the fun of it. I mean, half the missions are us open with him grumbling about having to pay his landlord.
Bills, man.
I mean, there's a couple of moments where he says, "Just this job, and then I can retire from this
Yeah.
horrible business." So yeah,
That's the video.
he's not Batman. Don't make him Batman, developers.
Brooding.
They put a mask over his face as well. That's a broody step. That's a step into broody land.
Follow my Tumblr.
Of course, as everyone knows, Thief 2 was the best game in the series.
I've got those somewhere on Steam, like in my little listo games.
Was Thief 2 on Steam? I know Thief 3 is.
I'm pretty sure they all are.
I presume they must be.
So that's the post office, yeah. Alright, the door's locked. Okay.
Because the thing about Thief 1 is that the developers sort of only half believed people would like stealth thievery gameplay, so they did put in a lot of monsters and action-oriented bits where you have to fight. But by Thief 2 they were like, okay, message received, and they just made a whole bunch of really cool sneaky levels with very little monster combat.
Okay, that door won't open. I'm presuming that's the game's will not.
Well, think like a game designer again.
Well, I'm
What did you
not
just
one.
pick up? What's the last important thing you picked up?
Well, the post office back door key, but I can't get to the post office because
Okay.
it's on the opposite side of the street and I can't get to the back. So I might try going
Where's the post office?
beneath the little flashing red dot, so directly down from the little flashing red dot. And I've
So
tried
it's-
walking. I might go back around to JJ's diner, but that was where the lady pushed the unpassable
Okay.
thing. And I have a key to a trailer park trailer, but I can't get to there yet. That's an obstructed location.
This is getting pretty Silent Hill-y at this point, because that was a big thing in Silent Hill 1, having to figure out the way around the
Yeah.
town blockages. To get
Town's
to-
falling apart.
to get-
Shit.
Well, this town hasn't really fallen apart yet. All the buildings are still there.
Oh yeah, in Silent Hill, how just big kind of gaps in the street,
Yeah,
which was kind of cool, really.
it's almost think it wasn't. You almost think it wasn't actually a real place. It's just this weird ethereal realm floating in void.
Mm. Have you ever seen
You were transported to by the darkness within your own heart.
Have you ever seen an Italian zombie film? It's called Cemetery Man, which I think is not really a good title for it, but it's the Italian film with Della Morte, Dell'Amore. It's a Rupert Everett film about a guy who works in a cemetery where the dead just come back.
No, I haven't seen that.
It's kind of existential, and it ends really well with him finally deciding to leave this fucking ridiculous town that he doesn't really want to live in, and he drives to the edge of the road, and it's just a precipice off into a vast grey nothing.
Ah, so he could never escape.
No, it's kind of a nihilist film in that regard.
Hmm.
Everything's shit. Find a job you can while away your life in comfortably and just nuzzle into that rut.
Analogy for daily life.
Yeah. Well, you know, you just gotta chill and get through it.
Hey, I remember
One
that
day
gate.
you'll be dead and it won't matter. Yeah, I'm going back to the start now to see if I can find a way out of this.
I'm
I just
liking-
turned nothing.
I'm liking his running animation.
Every time I see funny running, like fat people or, you know, just businessmen is my favorite. Businessmen running for public transport. Because they don't run properly. And it's kind of adorable to watch.
He looks sort of vaguely excited about something.
Christmas, Christmas!
Oh, you know what it reminds me of is how Asimo runs.
It's a weird and... Alright, so this is nothing.
Okay. And there's no other way out?
Look up an FAQ. Fuck this nonsense.
Must I?
Yeah.
I got my list of game titles.
Oh, we'll keep going through the game titles then. What's the next game?
Well, I'll just remember it. The next...
I'll just use my brain.
Well, the next game that's coming out relevantly is Dark Souls 2.
I heard that you can get invaded while dead in that, and that scares me. I don't want to be invaded. I'm tired of being invaded.
Well, you are a pussy, let's be fair.
Yeah, apparently, like, I've avoided looking at wikis on stuff because I don't want the fun of exploration to be kind of spoiled for me. And so, as a result, like, I don't know the best sort of combinations of things to make weapons, and so I don't have, like, crazy fucking badass stuff.
Well...
And people keep running at me with mad shit. Like,
Well, is that all you've heard, that you can be invaded when you're hollow?
invaded when I'm hollow, yeah. That was the one that sort of stuck in my mind.
Presumably there'll be other measures to avoid getting invaded. Maybe you don't get invaded when you're human.
No.
Did it say that?
No.
Did it deny that? So it could be the case, couldn't it? Although knowing Dark Souls, probably not.
Yeah, this will be the Dark Souls that takes a gentler approach.
Yes. All the plot items you need are just in the first corridor.
Yeah, then it's just a stroll. It really turns into more of a sim after that. It's just a landscape simulator.
Yeah, you get a job at a hot dog stand.
Hollows need hot dogs, man. It's a favorite food.
Right, where are we? Right, walk through Mulder, episode 1, Renaissance. Apparently that's a word.
Okay, I have a cigarette lighter. Do I need another fluid? I must need another fluid. Where did I get the cigarette lighter? I don't even remember that.
Okay, where are we? Double deuce. We've been in there. Okay, kill that guy and get the postal office back door keys.
Right.
Then examine the back of the truck for a package.
Right.
Go back to the video store and run past the burning fire truck. Does that mean anything to
Yes, I am on my way.
you? Okay. Now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, but whenever I see... Yeah, this is the businessman run. Whenever I see that, I get the music to the original Wonder Boy and the Sega Master System in my head.
I don't know how that goes.
Oh, it's fun, little fat guy holding up his leaf pants music. Alright, run past this, they say.
Yes.
Wait.
Perhaps on the other side.
Yeah, I was going to read that again, because I don't think that looks like just a wall to me. Did they say go into the video store?
It says go back to the video store and run past the burning fire truck.
Then, what does it say after that?
Then you're in the town circle. That's what it says.
Okay, so what? Okay, read ahead. What do I have to do? I'm in the town circle. So that's the town circle there. Boo. Boo to you too, Mr. Zombie. You can stay a zombie. I'm not going to release you from your pain.
Wait, so you're in the town circle
In
now?
the town circle now.
Okay, town circle. In here, walk around killing the zombies that appear and pick up whatever ammo they leave behind.
Ah,
when
so
you can't
hang
find
on.
any more, run to the center to activate a cutscene.
I think I've already done that. What happens after that?
Mulder will find Mandy, one of the two missing teens, dead.
Did that, yep.
She was hung.
Yep.
You'll receive the key to the twins' trailer.
Yep.
Then look around for a bench with a dead woman on it.
Okay.
There you go. To get the post office front door key.
Okay, there's a reason Resident Evil had shit twinkle.
Aha, yes.
That's a rather important...
So what you're saying is you wanted to see that dead lady's crotch twinkling.
Shiny.
You want-
Glistening, I think, is the better term for it.
Glistening, fair enough. Glistening like your sweaty face.
Yeah, I do sweat a bit. Hoofing it here in the sun.
Right, I'm going to assume you'll be fine from here on.
Yeah, well, I mean, come on, like, that wasn't exactly telegraphed where there was an item, a major fucking...
Yeah, alright, don't get defensive. Just because I said you're fat.
Ah, so fat.
Anyway, the other game that comes out...
Drink gravy.
The next game coming out is Titanfall.
I've got some friends going apeshit for the beta of that.
I think it's mainly multiplayer though, so I don't really give a shit. Do you?
Like I'm not automatically opposed. I think it looks kind of cool. It's basically a first-person shooter, multiplayer sort of thing.
Well, you know, it's coming out. It's coming out amid a busy season on the same day as Dark Souls 2, so I think we can safely discount it.
Titanfall's gonna blitz Darks. What the fuck? Hey! Ow!
What? Who's that lad? Oh,
Fucking
lady.
zombie with a fucking America.
Did
Zombie
it?
with an AK.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, that must have been why we were in Tunguska at the start.
Sure, why not?
Because Russian assault rifles. There, that's the link.
Alright.
My next one is MGS5 Ground Zeroes. Not to be confused with MGS5 The Phantom Pain, which apparently comes later. Ground Zeroes is the one that it was recently leaked, only has a 2-hour story campaign.
What? What is it then? Is it like the official next Metal Gear Solid 5, or is that the
Well,
other?
this is the thing. MGS5 is apparently more than one game. There's MGS5 Ground Zeroes, which is this one, and then there's MGS5 The Phantom Pain.
Which is on what?
I think they're both on the next-gen consoles.
That...
This is the games industry now. Anyway, do you care?
Well, do I have to buy 2 whole games?
Apparently.
That's...
Do you care about Metal Gear Solid?
Well, I mean, no, but at the same time, that's kind of mental. Like, that's a weird thing to do.
Well, that's what they're doing. I mean, it's the same sort of thing they did with Kill Bill. They released it in 2 films just for larks.
Well, not just for larks. I mean, it would have been an unreasonably long film.
Well, maybe that's what they're doing with MGS5 as well.
Well, when the main quest is...
I think the thing with Ground Zeroes is that it's being a bit Peace Walker-y and that there's a lot of side stuff to do. And I think 2 hours is just the main quest.
I suppose, yeah, that could be like... If you just want to sit and gun it through, then...
Well, you know, let's not judge too early.
Well, no, that's what I mean.
I
Like,
guess I'm just asking, are you looking forward to that one?
No, I really like 3. I think 2 is not a bad game, and
Well, you'll probably like 5 then, because Big Boss is the hero again, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking in terms of gameplay balance and story balance. And I mean, like, it's not free of all of Kojima's weirdness, but
well, hardly.
yeah. But I don't know. I liked 3. I think 4 left a bad taste in my mouth.
I think you're not alone there.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it was mainly all those boss fights you have against incredibly mentally fucked up, scantily clad hot women.
Otherwise known as my dating history.
Ha ho, boosh.
No, all my relationship troubles are my fault. I will freely admit that.
All right, no one cares.
Well, I don't want to rag on the girls. It's
Well, we
mean.
were talking about MGS4, and all of a sudden you're talking about your fucking personal romance
The
life.
2 are deeply connected. I don't know. I do not understand how you don't notice that.
Well, that's what we call an EN subject, or a subject that means everything to you and nothing to anyone else.
Oh, this is the other door. Ah, there we are.
There you go. Now you're outside in somewhere else. And the last one I've got written down is Infamous Second Son, which I am like sort of interested in because I really liked Infamous 1 and 2, but I remember saying after Infamous 2, if they put out another sequel to this, I'm going to kill them. But that was under the assumption that a sequel would be trying to continue the plot of Infamous 2, and Infamous 2 kind of closes off the plot in a way I really liked, and that's why I said that.
Oh. Okay, so maybe then are they not? I've heard it
No,
has...
Second Son's a new main character. That's all I know at this point, really. I really like Infamous. It's one of the games from the now growing subgenre of superhero sandbox.
I think that's a cool genre.
I always find I like them because I like having the freedom to get around in a really superhero
Dynamic
kind
way.
of way.
Well, I think that Titanfall has like crazy superpowered parkour.
Apparently.
Yeah, which I don't know, I've seen some stuff, like some friends have posted some videos and shit. And I mean, it looks nifty. And like I say, it's not my sort of flavor, but I'm not gonna. And there's like mechs that you can get in.
I think it is an only online game though. Like, there's no single player. Last I heard, and playing it in Australia. I think any of that cool motion physics is going to be lost with all the jumping around people are going to be doing.
Good luck with our tin can internet system.
Oh hey, it's the Mystery Machine.
Finally, the gang of stupid kids are dead.
Now maybe you and Scully can eat a Scully snack and take the mask off the evil monster and see who it really is.
A Scully snack. Hey. That's an arm. That's what he's trying to hit me with.
Whose arm was that? Because it's
Yeah.
not his own. Does the owner of that arm know you
Yeah.
have it, young man?
Did you bring enough arm for the rest of the class?
Do you have a license for your arm?
Things are supposed
Oh,
to...
hang on, it was his arm.
Yeah, it was his
Hush
arm.
my mouth.
Yeah.
Carry on, Mr. Cutty Offy man. Just checking out time.
Looks like nothing there. Looks like nothing there. This was just a room with a guy in it. Alright.
Any other games coming out this year that you're interested in?
Mario Kart 8 looks fun, because I like the Mario Kart games.
Why don't you just play all the previous Mario Karts? It'll probably be
Because
the same.
this one has like new stages and is HD and has sort of some gameplay mechanics modifications that I like.
Are they actually? Is Mario Kart actually going to be about skill at last?
Well, what they're doing, one addition they've done, which they did in 7, I think, which I quite liked, is something they had in, I think, the GameCube one as well, where you can mod the carts so you can have ones that structures that you like and things like that. How long have we been talking for?
Not quite enough.
Well, no, I wasn't like thinking we were going to like stop right here, but I'm thinking,
No.
are we getting close?
Well, we've got about 5 minutes, I'd say.
Yeah, time flies when I'm having shitloads of fun.
That's the other thing, Smash Brothers Brawl, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, and, don't hold out for Mario Kart, because Nintendo might have gone bust by then.
Nintendo strike me as the kind of company that'll just always be around in some form.
I said in my online output this week, they should probably just pull a Sega, because the hardware seems to be the cause of all their problems. Just make games. Concentrate on the games, make them good again.
I don't know, I'm not one of those people that says that Nintendo's games aren't good. I think they're good games.
I think they're efficient. I just don't think they've been elevated since Mario Galaxy.
I don't know, I like 3D Land.
Well, I don't.
Ah.
What an impasse we have reached.
Wait, is 3D Land the one we were playing?
That's
Or-
3D World.
Alright, yeah, so there's some easy ways I can get fucking confused.
Yes, I think that might be part of the problem.
What
But
is a
we
Master
ragged on
Gear Box
Nintendo
key?
enough earlier. Oh, that's the other bit of news I heard. Smash Brothers Brawl, apparently Little Mac from Punch-Out has been added to its to the Miega selection of new characters being added to the roster.
Miega Goo Goo.
Smash Brothers just going to turn into the new Madden. A slight roster update every year.
I don't know. I'm not a big. I like Smash Brothers because it's. I mean,
Why?
conceptually, I don't
Why?
actually really care for the game myself.
Okay then.
Well, it's kind of fun to see Nintendo sort of roll in its own IPs a little bit because they
Well,
don't.
I think that's the purpose of fighting games these days. It's just fun to see characters you already know and like having a tussle.
Yeah, duke it out.
But that's why fighting games with all new characters don't seem to come out anymore.
There are some
Where's
noble attempts.
Where's today's tattoo assassins? That's what I want to know.
Thankfully, not existing. That is a really, really, really bad game. Like one of my favorite things about Tattoo Assassins is, you know how they'll hire people to do they animate, they take photos of them and shit. They digitize
that's
actors.
That's what they did in Mortal Kombat, and that's
Right.
what every fighter did afterwards for the next 5 years.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat hired people who could, do the kicks.
Yeah, they were already burly athletic
Yeah,
dudes.
there's some great bits in Tattoo Assassins where there are people supposed to be doing head-high kicks and they can't because they're just the most athletic programmer that they knew.
Yeah.
And
All you had to do was rest their foot on a bookshelf and then edit the
and
bookshelf out.
just take the photos, and they didn't even do that, and it's just kind of sad
Just
and
looks
awkward
kind
and
of
silly
pathetic.
looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably the worst digitized fighting game is Survival Arts.
Didn't you want to make a digitized fighting game a while back?
I think they're hilarious. I think if I was going to bother doing something in Mugen or something like that, or Game Maker, I'd try that. But
Yeah,
that's
like-
also really hard.
Yeah, because you'd totally just do that, wouldn't
I
you?
know. Oh, well, this is why I'm not doing it. It is not something that you can just. I'm going to sit down and make it. It's fucking hard.
I tried to make a little one-on-one fighting game out of characters from my previous properties once.
Really? You tried to make a Smash Brothers?
It was shit
I want to play
because
that. I want to see that.
because I don't play one-on-one fighters and
I
don't
could-
really get them.
I could totally focus test that for you. I will tweak that. You will have a great fighting game. by
All
the
I
end
did
of
was that I based it on the Mortal Kombat rules. Wherein every single character has exactly the same moves except for 2 specials.
That's a good place to start, but I
Okay.
wouldn't I wouldn't rest there.
Well, I wouldn't want to make a one-on-one fighting game anyway, because I make games that I want to play.
Fair enough. I don't know.
I think
it'd be-
people lose sight of that, especially these days. They're all like, we want to make games that people will buy. But when you let people make the games that they want to play, you get...
Alright,
cool-
the torch
cool shit.
disappears into... fucking... that door won't open.
What were you expecting, for the cone of light to be completely solid? Now I'm thinking of Silent Hill 3.
It really... Yeah, like the... Alright, I don't know the code to that yet. Or do I?
Maybe it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe they've got a really thick janitor.
Guessed. Gas station note. Dresser.
That didn't help at all. Wait, rotate it.
No, there's nothing on the back. I already rotated it.
Well, hush my mouth.
You see what I mean, though? Like, if they'd managed a decent rip-off of Silent Hill and just stuck, like, an X-Files coating over it, that'd be fun. But it'd have to be, like, a decent rip-off of Silent Hill.
Well, you know, woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah.
If only everyone involved in this game had been 10 times
10 times
smarter, this
better,
game would have been good. If only the X-Files had been Lost, it would have been amazingly popular
I didn't like Lost.
into the 2000s. If only, if only, if only. If
Well,
only you were a sexy lady who'd go down on me at the drop of a hat. Don't you retch at that idea. I've seen the looks you give me. You're
but you know,
thinking,
okay,
oh, for a lady's laughing gear. That's what you think.
Yeah, sure, totally. Take, Resident Evil 6, for instance.
Please.
Yeah, please. Where that's a combination, where even the ideas in that were horrible and confusing. You know what I mean? Like, there wasn't good ideas in that poorly executed. It was shitty ideas.
I think that was more a problem with too many ideas.
Yeah, but they were terrible. Like,
Well,
the herb system, the way you have to turn the herbs into little mints for reasons.
That's what I like about Resident Evil 4. It's simple.
Yeah.
Rescue the president's daughter. Bam. But
I
Resident
was a
Evil
bad
6
enough dude to do that.
But Resident Evil 6 was all like, and also there's been invasions in America and China, and there's something going on in Russia as well.
Oh god, it was horrible.
Certainly was. That's a non-contentious issue for you.
Resident Evil 6. Awful, execrable game.
Well, you say this game could have been good, but I don't really hold much stock in potentials. The road to hell, what's it paved
it's,
with?
You know, merely a topic for discussion which allows for some musing and then a discussion on what makes sort of, a good time or good gameplay mechanics or what have you.
Don't break the fourth wall.
How dare I become self-aware? I am but a construct. I'm just you putting on a voice. Gabriel doesn't exist. I'm kind of like Tony Clifton for Yahtzee.
No, this is me putting on a voice. I'm Gabriel. I'm really outside of the human race. Because I'm so fat I cannot be admitted through your conventional doorways.
Yes, that's what does it. I'm so fat that I'm not able to, get off!
I'm full
Stop,
of...
I'm pushing buttons.
I'm full of mild contempt for everything I see.
It's not contempt. I love everything.
Yeah, that really comes across.
It's all a harsh outer shell to keep me safe, Yahtzee.
All right. You're not going to turn into the Flappy Bird developer, are you?
Yeah, I wonder what he's doing now.
I don't know, counting his money.
Yeah, I hope so. The door won't open. Oh, hey, butthole.
See, I don't know what that guy's game plan was.
Yeah, he kind of jumped up and did jazz hands. The door won't open. Ah, it's a
Of course
shame
it
there's no
doesn't.
other way to get into the hardware store.
Yeah, Silent Hill logic. You'd be lucky to even get a message clicking
Yeah.
on a door in the first Silent Hill. And the second as well, I think.
Yeah, it'll just tell you to fuck right off.
Most of the doors just seem to have been painted on.
Yeah, yes, emergency exits painted on.
Well, is this game going to reach some exciting conclusion within the next 5 minutes? Well, we should probably pack this in then.
This is Fox Mulder signing off.
And presumably also Agent Scully, who we haven't seen, so I'm just going to presume is dead.
Yep,
Forever.
she's dead.
Sorry, fans. I think from this point on it was just a robot in the TV show.
Yeah, it was actually. That's canon.
Hey Gabe, you're fat. And he can't defend himself because he's fixing something on the machine.
Yep.
Anyway, hello listeners. That was some great opening banter, wasn't it? Thanks for your contribution,
I
Gabe.
am fat. I'm a big piggy.
You're a fat piggy.
Sit at home and just wallow in mud.
And
Cry.
Happy belated Valentine's Day, listeners of the internet. What did you do, Gabriel?
I cleaned up and changed around the lounge room. I changed the kitchen, cleaned my room, and did some exercise.
Ah, how romantic. The classic love story between man and kitchen.
It's a good place, the kitchen. The kitchen's great.
My evening was the classic love story between man and box of Weight Watchers brand Bakewell tarts.
I love how you have so much success in life and yet manage to focus on the bitter, miserable aspects of it.
Yeah, man, the other man's arse is always cleaner. We focus on what we don't have.
I like to think that was internet research that illuminated that.
Anyway, look at what we're playing, internet. It's the X-Files Resist or Serve.
Yeah!
Now, this is not to be mistaken for the first X-Files game, is it? Which was an FMV affair.
Yeah.
This is the PS2 survival horror X-Files game.
Which... I think, and it gets me it starts me on what I'd be as my sort of topic for this, which is...
Well, slow down, sailor.
Okay, who do you want to be? Do you want to be Dana Scully or Fox Mulder?
Oh, decisions.
Soon to be Englishman or porn addict? That was a part of his character in the original series. He was a porn addict.
Ah, would that have been a reference to his early work in the erotic series Red Shoe Diaries?
I knew he did sort of an erotic series. I didn't know the name of it. Did you research that, or did you just know it? Or
No,
are you like...
I just watched the shit out of it and masturbated heavily. Now
David Duchovny, like, giving you a hand.
Well, we have to do Fox Mulder now, don't we?
Yeah. And yeah, so basically, this is set up... This is why I quite like the game, despite the fact the gameplay itself isn't great, is it's set up kind of like you're playing extra episodes of X-Files.
Alrighty.
And, yeah, so...
Okay.
It's really nifty if you're a fan of X-Files.
So
and I'm a fan of X-Files.
What was that other game that pretends to be... Star Trek Voyager Elite Force.
Haven't played that one.
I think a couple of Star Trek games do it as well, actually. Like, it goes into the classic opening sequence. A little way into the prologue.
I actually like that. Like, I'm an easy mark for, like, my sci-fi and fantasy opening sequences.
Oh, hey, Tunguska, I'm sure this will end well.
I know. Every, drink if you can, every X-Files episode that you... How much X-Files did you actually watch?
A fair bit. I know enough to be able to state that there were basically 3 different kinds of X-Files episode. There was Monster of the Week.
Yeah.
There was continuation of ongoing conspiracy. Usually meant I wouldn't understand what the fuck was going on. Or they had occasional silly episode when we were sick of A and B.
The occasional... I don't know, they had some excellent standalone episodes.
What was that episode they did in black and white, which was about a mad scientist turning people into animal-human hybrids? That was a silly episode.
Yeah, that was a good silly... Okay,
Cher was in it. I remember now.
One of the best standalone episodes of anything is, I think, from Season 3, called Jose Chung's From Outer Space.
Oh, that was a bit dark.
It's on Netflix. Seriously, sit down and watch it. Yeah, and here we go. X-Files opening sequence.
That was a bit dark, baby being eaten by black stuff.
That's the sentient oil that is one of the alien species.
Oh god, now it starts.
Oh, the door's locked.
I can't see terribly well. I'm getting light off the TV.
Well, this looks normal.
Yes, carry on, citizen.
Yes. Mandatory health inspection. We just want to make sure you're preparing your human meat in a safe manner.
So, yes, do you mind if I just heat up my gun on your burner there? Do you mind if I just stick my gun into your chest?
There's a man hurt outside. I need a phone.
What's he saying?
There's a man hurt outside. I need a phone. And Mulder's not noticing that human is missing half of his face.
Oh, it's Shadow over Innsmouth as well then.
Yeah. Alright, so good job there,
Sooner
Mulder.
or later, all these horror town stories come back to the Shadow over Innsmouth, don't they? Good old Lovecraft, you big racist twat.
See what happened.
The Shadow over Innsmouth was always interracial marriage.
Yeah, that was literally... It wasn't like an unintended theme, it was literally about interracial marriage.
Cthulhu is just code for nigger cock.
Oh my god, I love the Lovecraftian mythos, but...
Yeah,
you know... You know, give it a rest, Howard.
Okay, door won't open.
I was reading. You ever read Reanimator, Herbert West Reanimator?
Yes.
There's a bit where he's describing a Negro boxer, and it's like,
yeah.
even for the time, it's like bloody hell.
It's like,
I mean, he's like talking about his knuckles dragging on the floor and that sort of thing.
yeah, like, give it a rest, dude.
Good old Howard P. Well, you know, he had all those views because he never left his house, didn't he?
Square burgers. All right, look, help me out here. You can be my detective. I need to find a phone because this was set in the '90s when mobiles weren't like everywhere.
Well, I'm sure they had mobiles in the X-Files, didn't they?
Yeah, but they were a big deal. I think even in the first few episodes, like the first few seasons, they had like car phones.
Is there not one as part of the cash register?
No. And all the doors in here seem to be locked. Paul's having a conversation.
Nice.
And yeah, if it weren't for the fact that the game was still unplayably slow, I'd entirely be doing it like that right now. Like, just the terrifying disembodied eye chat is...
Any chance you could summarize this plot we're not listening to?
Well, okay, it starts like every X-Files episode where they're on their way to something already and discussing the case.
So
and
it's
essentially
it's Monster of the Week brand,
Monster of the Week, yeah. So we're having a Monster of the Week episode here, and they're discussing, as usual, how something peculiar is going on, and Scully doesn't think it's peculiar, and Mulder thinks it's peculiar. And basically, there's potential Satanism involved, someone's died, and a murder's been committed by someone who was supposed to have died several weeks ago.
Okay.
And that's the mystery. Ooh.
So this is X-Files when it's being Twin Peaks.
Yeah, and, you know, the double connection of David Duchovny having been in Twin Peaks as a transvestite FBI agent.
Hey kids, this was before facial animation. Is it obvious?
And much in the way of mocapping, too. Like, some of the animations in this are fairly shoddy. Alright, so here we go.
See if there's a subtitles option for
Yeah.
anything else. See, that's the thing about subtitles. Sometimes it's in audio,
Yeah.
sometimes it's in video.
Alright, I don't think it's in audio.
Okay. Aspect ratio doesn't help. Actually, try game settings. Sometimes it's in
yeah.
that as well.
Vibration. Alright, look, you could just... That doesn't need a whole subcategory to itself. Like, you don't need game settings just to get to vibration.
Maybe they were planning to put more in later.
Maybe it's in controls.
Not shit.
Nope.
No.
Alright, well, here we are. Switch targets, reload, aim mode, jog.
Okay, we'll just not give a shit about the plot then.
You're not missing anything, really.
Alright, let me guess. There's monsters killing the people in the small town.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the best.
Alright, where's my inventory? And so
This-
here it kind of has your sort of Resident Evil-y...
This is very Resident Evil-y at the moment, isn't it?
yeah, it's... This
Well,
is...
Well, the diner's quite Silent Hilly.
Yeah. The...
Yeah, I remember that. Occasionally there'd be some black stuff appear in one of those ongoing conspiracy episodes, and I'd be like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is that? Why is everyone afraid of the Marmite?
Marmite's scary, man. You need to fight Marmite with Vegemite.
I love Marmite. It's like Vegemite, but less coagulated.
That's kind of why I like Vegemite. It's just this hateful yeast discharge, and yet we smear it on burnt bread.
This is taking me back, though.
I know, like, this was the 90s for me. It was like I used to like I remember when X-Files came out, I would fight with my parents to stay up and fucking watch X-Files, and they just gave up eventually.
I remember when it was such a big, like, endemic thing in popular culture, but now no one really talks about it. It's not like Star Trek, where everyone still talks about it to the day.
Well, Star Trek ran, you know, it had its time in the 60s, and it had a resurgence with the reruns. Like, that was one of the first big syndicated rerun shows.
Does this game have subtitles? You might wanna, if it does, you might want to put them on at the earliest opportunity, because we're not going to be able to hear a word these people are saying.
I'm masturbating about you, Scully. Secretly, all the time. You know, I kind of, like, this is the show that it did that kind of romance thing, and I sort of wish it didn't, and it kind of skipped around
I
it by the
think it's
end.
technically called a will they, won't they?
Yeah, I don't like that in shows. I think it's kind of asinine these days.
Well, you know, the moment they actually do it, there's no story left, is there? Is there? They have to make sure they've still got bills they can pay next week.
They made some interesting jokes about it in Moonlighting, which was another sort of...
Flap, 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 flap,
Good
flap,
show.
flap, flap, flap mouth, flap mouth.
No, when I when I first downloaded this, my shittier laptop didn't run it very well, and so I had to turn all these things off to try and get it to run at full speed, and the result was these two characters sitting here with no head matter whatsoever. It was just hair and disembodied eyeballs.